Hi everyone, we are back with the final war of the season, and we are going to be going up against the Alliance Jedi Assassins. I'm going to be bringing in the same team for the third war in a row. We're going to be bringing in Omega Red, Mega Sentinel, and Sabertooth. This first section, we're going to be going up Path 5, kind of what we've been doing I think the past two wars as well. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this Omega Sentinel and Omega Red team. It makes it very convenient when you just turn on suicides and go. So yeah, really happy with this team. And for this first fight, we are going to be going up against this thing on Node 2. Similar strategy that a Sasquatch and Spot I took here. We are going to build our spores and then heavy attack once he's up around 30. Just to get the fury and start getting the damage going. I think Thing's probably the easiest of the three I've taken here. I know it's pretty popular to put him here, but I don't think it's really a big threat as long as you have someone who does some passive damage like Omega Red can do. So the only thing here I really want to watch for, yes, I'm going to watch for the spores and try and keep as high as possible, but the big thing is whenever you fight Thing, to watch his rock stacks, make sure you bait out specials when he's at 15 to reset them. And yeah, as you can see, we're chipping away. We didn't even get that many spores on him, but he's going down very quickly. Here we're going to hit into his rock stack some more, get him to 15, bait out one more special, and I think we'll be able to combo it out here and take him down. The other thing is that this defender was running suicides, or at least the recoil tree. I think they placed an Elsa with suicides on to try and catch us out if we didn't use a mutant. Our next fight, we're going to be using Omega Sentinel here versus Havok. Pretty straightforward fight. I think we've taken this fight a couple times this season. When he heavies, he goes unstoppable, as you can see there. But besides that, we'll do our best to get a reparry in and throw heavies. I wanted to get my armors up first, which is why you see me do a combo, just to be safe. We don't want the plasmas to kill us in any way. And then we're going to keep comboing him here. Havok does like to throw his heavy attack quite a bit, but he also does throw the double mediums, so you just want to make sure you're watching out for that as well. As you can see there, we dex out of the way when our fury was about to drop because his stun will purify. That's the other main thing when you're watching this node that can catch you off guard if you're not watching that timer. But this fight's going well. It's a little on the slow side, but we're doing plenty of damage here. And I think we're gonna... Oh, he's still spamming the special ones, which gives him a lot of prowess, and his power goes up. Sometimes you can get a little bit of a cycle where he's doing it over and over again. We should get a reparry soon. We're gonna knock him down, and we're gonna get him close and then throw our special 3. This was a good spot to throw a special 3 because it should finish him off. But also, Manuel and Andrew have been asking for more special 3s from me. Not sure why, but I wanted to make sure I gave them a show and threw a couple Omega Sentinel special 3s. With this next fight, we are going to be using Omega Sentinel again. And I did run an invul boost for this fight. I watched FinTech's video recently taking the exact same fight with his Omega Sentinel, and things can get a little scary if for whatever reason you can't bait out her special 1 and she just continues to build prowess and gets pushed past that special 1. So I wanted to run it just in case. The plan here was that if that did happen, I would try and let her basically just back off and let her get to a special 3 with all the prowess and take that, because her special 2 applies shock damage, and even with the invul preventing the damage from the actual special attack, the shock damage would likely kill me right away, especially with all the prowess built up. So right here, you kind of see the issue. She was very hesitant to throw the special 3, has a bunch of prowess, and we're going to try and bait out the special one more time. We hit her a couple times just to remove them to kind of reset as we had our armor ups. And I think here we're going to knock her down again. Knock her down, try and bait the special out right away. She throws it, thankfully. And then we're going to keep comboing. But yeah, as you can see, we want to just make sure we're managing her prowess, and if she gets close to special 2, we're just going to wait it out and let her get to that special 3. So for me, this fight does go very smooth, thankfully. But, yeah, watching Fintech, it got very dangerous at the end. He obviously was able to save it, but I didn't want to risk it since he's obviously a much better player than me. And I'd rather be safe with the end roll, which I think he was running as well. But one more special 3, and that'll end the fight. So first 2 fights with the Mega Sentinel, super smooth. Really happy with how they went. And we're going to make our way into section 2. We're going to take Toad on this node. I did some duels, and sometimes he seemed to start with the prowess and a heal. Sometimes he didn't. It might have been because I was running suicides when I did the duels. But we're going to use my usual tactic where I heavy at the start. I think we are going to do 2 hits. No, we're just going to heavy right away. So my usual tactic where I heavy at the start to switch us to the form we really want to be in, and we can apply a paused heal block right away. So as you see, that went great. We were going to do our best to not dex back too many times. But we do want to manage to dex back every now and then. We don't want to trigger the regen, but we do want to dex back to remove our poisons on us. Because if we get to, I want to say 8 poisons, he can passively stun us, which we don't want to do. So you'll see me kind of slow play it at times just to remove some of the poison so we don't get too many. But this special 2 is going to end it. So super fast fight, pretty safe, but yeah, it was a rank 5 Toad, so it did take a couple specials instead of just 1. This next fight on path 1 is going to be this Man-Thing. I did talk to my officers. I thought Omega Sentinel might be a little bit safer. That was partially because I did forget Man-Thing did armor break. But after talking to Clown and PWF, they thought that Omega Red would be safer, and as you can see, that goes completely well. My worry for not wanting to use Omega Red was I know that once Man-Thing gets his specials and he throws them, he'll be giving me buffs, which will trigger the buffet. But pretty early on, right about here, I realized, hey, we can probably do this without needing to let him throw a special at all. So I'm going to kind of back off, only do heavies. We're going to hold block so he doesn't throw a special. And then I think we'll re-parry here. Oh, no, no re-parry, just parry, throw another heavy, and Man-Thing goes down. So didn't even need to worry about baiting out a special at all, and super easy fight. This next fight, Korg on node 46. I've taken this before. It is a very easy, straightforward fight, and I was even able to get a WAGs for this fight, pre-fight for this fight. It is going to be very sloppy. My next fight I was a little bit worried about, and basically I wanted to test something out. I've seen videos of, I want to think, Slaymon and Lizer doing this tactic where they basically just parry to build their spores, not doing a 1 light attack combo. And for my next fight, I thought that might be a good tactic, so I wanted to try it here where it's pretty safe. I'd have to kind of really screw it up for that to happen. So the first 2 go really well, then I kind of lose it. I think I try one more time. It doesn't really go well, so now I'm kind of just, I mean, it kind of just goes to shit real quick. Again, this fight is super safe, so I wasn't worried about dying. But after that, I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to try and do the stand there and parry over and over again to build spores to minimize my hits as much as possible. So now we're just playing it straightforward. We are going to fail to dex this special 1, but he's basically dead. So, I mean, the fight's super easy. The just re-parrying without doing any hits was a little not as smooth as I wanted, so we're not going to try this tactic for this last fight. And it is going to be against this rank 5 Kingpin on node 54. To be safe, I did take off the precision mastery, so I would not be critting as much, giving Kingpin prowess and getting his power out of control. That was something I thought about doing, and then Andrew, one of the officers for another BEG, suggested the same thing, so I decided to do that. And we basically are going to do our parry 1 light attack to build our spores, and then lock in once we get close. Once we lock in, you're going to see I'm just going to keep pairing and then only use heavies basically once we're locked in. We obviously do not want him to get to a special 2 because it'll be unblockable and it'll hurt a lot. But we're doing a good job so far. We get our first crit, so he has 1 prowess. But due to removing the precision buffs, I think I crit maybe 1 more time. Because as you can see, Kingpin's absolutely melting. We're only doing heavy attacks to reapply our debuffs, and Kingpin goes down super smooth. So a fight I was a little bit worried about ended up being a complete non-issue. And that ended my war, and unfortunately we do end up losing. We did need to win this war to finish top 10, so we are going to finish outside the top 10, unfortunately. But overall, decent season. We're going to get 15th place overall, which will be top 10 rewards because of the buffed rewards this season. So overall, a decent season for us. Looking at my stats for the season, as you can see here, we did end up going 67-2, which is decent. It's not an amazing season, but it's not the worst season I've ever had either. And then if you look at my kills by champ, Omega Red and Omega Sentinel led the way, taking a very large chunk of the fights. So really happy with that, especially since Omega Red was a new rank up. He really started getting used a bunch at the end as I think Clown and PWF kind of saw that I was starting to get the hang of playing with him. Not that I'm an expert in any way, but I was starting to get kind of the feel for his play style and getting it down quite a bit better by the end of the season. Omega Sentinel continued to get a ton of fights as last season, especially being a tactic attacker. I kind of expected that going in. And then Archangel and Negative kind of had that a couple more fights, and then the rest was kind of just a sprinkling. Negative had less fights than usual. Unfortunately, the canceled war, he was going to have 3 fights. So, yeah, his fights were a little low this season, but kind of just the nature of how it ends up playing out sometimes. For fight type, we did have 41 path, 14 shared, and 12 mini. No bosses this season, but just didn't really work out that way this time around. And then for our overall tier 1 record, we are now 622 kills with 19 deaths. And then you can kind of see the path, shared, and mini in boss fights. So still pretty happy with that record overall. 2 deaths last season and 2 deaths this season aren't... Again, 2 deaths isn't bad season. It's not great either. But yeah, I think that kill death is about 97% solo rate, so a good record overall. But for the season as a whole, very happy with the amount of fights I had, the type of fights I had, and the champs I got to use. So big shout out to both Clown and PWF, who are my officers who did all the planning. I just really appreciate all the work they do. Another cool thing that they did at the end of the season, and I'll make sure I add the picture in, is VMcG. He kind of made little profile pics for everyone. And since I used Omega Red and Omega Sentinel pretty evenly, he was able to put both champs there on my profile, which was pretty unique. I think most other people in the alliance kind of have one champion. So just really cool and super cool thing he was able to do for the people in the alliance. But that's going to wrap up the video. And I probably won't be posting much during this off-season, this extended off-season. I might post some unique off-season fights I have. But besides that, there probably won't be a bunch of videos. But thank you for watching, and I hope all of you had a good season as well.